Israeli troops have carried out a targeted ground raid in Gaza ahead of an expected wider offensive. Joining me live is IDF spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus. Jonathan, thanks so much for your time. Look, 200 airstrikes in one day. It's been reported the most intense bombing we've seen from any country in the last century. It's been reported as well inside Gaza there's been more than 7,000 deaths. Can you help us understand why do so many bombs need to be dropped on such a small part of land?
Yes, I can understand the question, and I would be happy to try to answer it. We are at the war that we did not start, which started by Hamas crossing into our communities and butchering more than 1,000 of our civilians. In response to that, we are going to dismantle totally all of the military infrastructure in Gaza, which facilitated this attack, and we are going to dismantle Hamas from ever being capable of doing it again. In order to accomplish that, we have to strike their military infrastructure. We have to strike their command and control facilities, their tunnels, the places where they store munitions or where they develop rockets against us. We have to hunt their commanders, and we have to hunt and destroy the entire establishment and the support structure that Hamas has been able to build over the last almost 20 years since it took control over Gaza in 2007.
It's been reported that there was a targeted raid on northern Gaza by your troops and tanks, but they have since withdrawn out of Gaza. Can you tell us what was the objective of this raid and why IDF troops have since withdrawn from Gaza again?
Yep, a raid is by definition an incursion and then withdrawal. And what Israeli troops did, these were armored and infantry troops. They went in, prepared and did some tasks that are related to the preparation of the battlefield, some contact and skirmish with the enemy. A few tank missiles were fired at our tanks. We responded, and we got a sense, I would say, of the level of readiness and ground preparations that our enemy has for us. And then our troops retreated back into Israel. I can assess that we will see continued similar activity until the larger stage of ground invasion actually unfolds.
But you don't know when that's going to be?
Even if I knew, I wouldn't be able to say.
Of course. Israel has faced attacks for the first time on 4 fronts. It's been reported IDF has exchanged fire with Gaza, also in the West Bank, but with Lebanon and Syria. Is this true? And what has been the nature of that exchange of fire, as there are fears that this is going to be escalating into a wider conflict?
Yes, and I can add to that there's also been Pentagon reports of missiles fired from Yemen towards Israel, so you can make it 5. Listen, we are surrounded by many tentacles of one institution and organization, and that is Iran. We have Iranian proxies at all of our borders except for Jordan and Egypt. And there are many enemies that are armed, equipped, and paid for by Iran, with their sole purpose in life is to kill Jews and kill Israelis. We are now fighting one of them, and we intend to dismantle that organization, and we are keeping the others at bay for the time, despite the fact that Hezbollah in Lebanon has been ratcheting up their attacks against Israeli civilians and military, and we've been so far only responding and defending ourselves.
Israel has claimed to have killed one of Hamas's senior plotters of the October 7 attack in an assassination plot carried out behind enemy lines. The claim is Hamas intelligence directorate. Shadi Baroud was killed. Can you tell us more about this and how significant this latest development is?
It's significant on 2 levels, because this terrorist, who is no longer with us, he has been in the business of killing Israeli civilians for many, many years. He was responsible for a massacre of an Israeli high school program inside Gaza many years ago, where 8 Israeli students were killed. And he was also one of the key operators and planners of the horrific October the 7th attack. We were able to target him using updated human intelligence and other sources of intelligence, which, by the way, should lay to rest and answer questions about the quality and the availability of Israeli intelligence after October 7th. And we will continue to target any and all Hamas operatives, whether they are very senior or just senior or even middle rank, if they are part of the financial establishment, logistic, or even religious or political. Everything that is part of Hamas, that was the breeding ground for the October 7th massacre, has a target on its head and back, and they will be targeted by us.
Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus, thanks so much for your time.